In the village of Fuiono, on the South Pacific island of Savaii in western Samoa, High Chief Fuiono Senio tells village children a story. It is a story that was told to him by his grandfather. The story of Nafanua is just one chapter of a rich oral history here in Savaii. For 1,000 years, people of this tiny island chain have lived in harmony with each other, their traditions, and their environment.
Samoans, like many indigenous people, have a way of seeing your very heart. And if you believe that they're savage or stupid or uncivilized, that communicates without language. But if you respect them, you show them dignity, and you have the humility to learn from them, you discover that they're extraordinary.
Dr. Paul Cox is an ethnobotanist from Brigham Young University. Descended from a long line of scientists, Dr. Cox came to study the pharmaceutical mysteries shared by Savaii's healers.
My original reason for coming to the village was to study with the indigenous healers, to learn their knowledge about the plants. So we found a plant here that has a molecule that's extraordinarily active against the AIDS virus.
Since his first visit to Fuiono as a missionary in the 70s, Paul Cox has been more than a student of the region and its hidden treasures. He has been accepted by the Savaii people as a learned brother and a valued member of the community. The Samoans firmly believe that their children are their future. 10 years ago, this commitment to education set in motion a drama that would change the history of Fuiono.
As chiefs and orators to see that there is a school, so seeing that they have nowhere to raise the funds, the loggers came along and said, we'll build a school if you give us the logs.
The agreement made, the ancient woods began giving way to bulldozers and chainsaws, decimating the only home of the Samoan flying fox, destroying an untold number of species of tropical and medicinal plants. Chief Fuiono knew this logging would drain the life from his island. When the bulldozers rolled in, tribal elders simply stood by, watched, and wept. In just 4 years, the entire rainforest would be gone.
I just felt I couldn't let this happen, and so I thought I'd stop it.
A tribal meeting was hurriedly arranged. Chief Fuiono knew he had to overcome reservations other elders had about accepting Cox's offer.
There was a day or two while the village had discussions that I didn't know what would happen, whether I'd be able to change anything or not. When I heard that they accepted my offer to try help protect the forest, I was just elated to see him run miles with his machete. They didn't want anything else wasted, and so he ran to send away the loggers and told the loggers to leave and never to return. A lot of people talk about conservation. This man's put his life on the line.
In just 6 months, Paul Cox returned to Savaii with the money. The elders signed a covenant with the school fund donors to protect the rainforest for a 50-year period. The elders of Fuiono bestowed their highest honor on Dr. Cox, making him an honorary chief. His Samoan title, Nafanua, after the ancient goddess who came from the sea to save the Savaii people.
Conservation is not an issue of foreigners. Conservation is an issue of indigenous people. And it isn't the World Wildlife Fund, it isn't Greenpeace, it isn't some foreign organization coming and preaching conservation. Fuiono recast the whole formula in the South Pacific, so it's seen as an indigenous issue. In fact, it's the ultimate indigenous issue for these people to protect their forest and their land. And what he has done now has catalyzed a whole new conservation movement throughout the whole South Pacific.
For outstanding environmental achievement in island nations, a 1997 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded jointly to Dr. Paul Cox and Chief Fuiono Senio of the village of Fuiono, Western Samoa.